Kia ora, welcome to Central News for Thursday 27th of March. I'm Amy Forrest. In today's news, research released this month shows that Waikato District Health Board's Supported Transfer and Accelerated Rehabilitation Program, also known as START, reduces the length of stay in hospital and the risk of readmission following discharge, also reducing costs for the DHB over 6 months. In the research, 198 older people entered the trial and were categorised to either usual care or START. The patients in the usual care group spent on average 21.6 days in hospital versus 17.1 days in START. Waikato DHB's Professor Matthew Parsons says what makes these results so important is that we know from other research that the less time older people spend in hospital, the better the rehabilitation outcomes are for them if they are well supported by something like the START program in their own homes and community. The Firefighter Sky Tower Stair Challenge is a New Zealand tradition. Imagine wearing 25 kilograms of firefighting kit and climbing 1,103 steps over 51 floors. That is exactly what firefighting brigades from New Zealand, Australia, USA and Europe will be doing in May, including 9 members from the Hamilton Volunteer Fire Brigade. Senior firefighter Kane Manley explains what the main purpose is of the Sky Tower Run.
We're raising funds for the Leukemia Blood Cancer Foundation. Basically, there's about 140 brigades throughout New Zealand, Australia and also the UK come over, and they just raise as many funds as they can for Leukemia Blood Cancer Foundation, which is for parents, adults and kids alike.
Families struggling to buy their first home may be able to do so in a housing development that is planned for Hamilton. Chief Executive of Te Ruranga o Kirikiriroa, Mary Bowser, explains how the need for affordable housing in Hamilton was identified.
In 2002, we looked at economic development for Māori and Pacific people. And one of the ways, of course, we could support them with economic development was through home ownership. So in 2002 we started to look at how we could help people into home ownership, and the target group that we were looking at were what we called the working poor. Basically people who held jobs but who were paying large amounts for rental houses and could never see their way forward to being able to get the deposit to be able to put them into homes. At that time they could get a 100% loan, but if you needed to get a 100% loan, obviously there were issues around whether you could meet mortgage repayments. So that's basically how we got into it, 2002.
Tauranga City Mayor Stuart Crosby will lead a delegation to sister cities in China and Japan early next month. The 12-day trip to Yontai in China and Hitachi in Japan includes a visit to South Korea to investigate the potential for future relationship building with the city of Ansan. Stuart says we have developed strong working relationships over the years, and these connections have provided many benefits to Tauranga economically, socially and culturally. On this occasion, we will have specific focus on food and beverage export products and education. The opportunities are endless, and as a city we should continually be putting our mind to how to create lasting benefits for all our citizens. Nominations for the Waikato Volunteer Excellence Awards are now open and will close on Monday 14th of April. Any community organisation can nominate an individual for the Volunteer of the Year Award or a team for the Team Excellence Award. So if you know anyone out there who is deserving of such an award, head online to volwai.org.nz to make your nomination. Taking a look at the marine forecast now, Raglan low tide is at 2:29 on Friday morning and high tide at 3 minutes to 9. Tauranga, the low tide is at 3 minutes past 10 tonight and the high tide at 5:30 Friday morning. Still to come on Central News, the Great Pumpkin Carnival, Waikato Museum's new exhibit and the Chiefs. That's next on Central News. Welcome back to Central News. The Great Pumpkin Carnival is now in its 5th year and is growing in popularity and size of pumpkins. The pumpkin seeds were planted months ago and have been tended carefully in preparation for attempts at world records. Anne-Marie spoke with one little girl who is growing big pumpkins and co-organiser Sam Alton Walters about an exciting twist to this year's weight records.
The GPC is the Great Pumpkin Commonwealth, and it's the governing body of weigh-ins for around the world, and it's based in the US of A. And basically, if we get a New Zealand record or a world record, that's recognised on the world stage, and we've got a whole bunch of rules and regulations this year we have to abide by, and I'm pretty certain we're the only New Zealand weigh-off site that's registered this year.
Do you know how many pumpkins you're going to get on the day?
No, we don't. It's a bit of a surprise. We don't have any pre-registration, and it's always exciting to see who turns up on the day and what their pumpkin's weight's going to be. But we do have one grower that's grown a lot this year, and we know she's coming to the carnival.
And that would be 7-year-old Grace Lusty. Now, Grace, how did you get started growing pumpkins?
I got a seed from either Team Mega, and Sam told us to go to the carnival.
So it's all Sam's fault?
Yep.
Who helps you in the garden?
Daddy?
And what does he do? What do you and Daddy do in the garden together?
We pick pumpkins and we water them.
And what's your favourite part of working in the garden with Dad?
Picking them.
Are you looking forward to going to the carnival?
Yep.
And I've heard that there's a pumpkin downhill rolling competition.
Yep.
It sounds very messy. Sam, tell me about that.
Yeah, it's sort of our version of it. So we roll the giant pumpkins down the hill at the end of the day and watch them explode and make a big mess everywhere.
What happens to all the pumpkins afterwards?
I came up with an ingenious idea of coming up with a pulp pile competition. So I get everyone to quickly make a biggest mound they can, and then it all gets piled up and we give it to a local farmer for his cows.
Entry to the carnival at the Hamilton Gardens is free, but this year you're asking for a voluntary donation. Tell me about that.
Yeah, this year we've just decided to help out the Hamilton Combined Christian Food Bank, and to, if a family can donate a can, it's not compulsory, but we thought we'd put it out there and see what we can do.
Grace, if there was somebody watching, a little boy or a little girl, who was thinking that they might like to grow giant pumpkins, what would you say?
Give it a go.
Thank you both very much.
No worries. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
The Great Pumpkin Carnival is on this Sunday at the Hamilton Gardens. Weigh-in starts at 10 a.m. For more details, go to thegreatpumpkincarnival.co.nz. The University of Waikato's Formula Society of Automotive Engineers race car will feature in a new exhibit in Waikato Museum's Excite Interactive Science Gallery until May 9th this year. The Formula-style race car was designed, built and raced by Waikato University students at an international event last December. Following the exhibition, the car will be revised and improved by the student team for the 2014 competition. Anne-Marie spoke with 3 team members to find out what the Formula SAE is all about.
Formula SAE is a student design competition in which participating universities compete all around the world to design and build a Formula-style race car.
When was the Waikato Formula SAE formed?
In 2005, students were introduced to Formula SAE and they designed individual components for a car, and in 2006 they manufactured these components to build a whole new car for competition in 2006.
Nick, you're the aero team leader. What does your role entail?
I, along with my team, we're going to be researching into techniques of reducing drag and trying to apply that knowledge to the body shell and the under tray of the car.
What's been your biggest challenge so far?
Our biggest challenge is going to be getting the car completed on time So a lot of the cars, they struggle to get through scrutineering tests because they rush through the last parts of their design.
Sam, what does having the car on display at Waikato Museum in the Excite exhibition mean to the team?
Well, it's fantastic for getting our car and what we do out to the public, and also for our sponsors, getting their names out to the public as well, which is fantastic.
You wouldn't be able to do this without your sponsors, would you?
No, not at all. They're a huge part of getting the car together, and just fantastic to have them.
Nick, the car ranked 6th overall at last year's competition. What's the goal for this year's?
The goal this year is just to increase our overall score.
How will you increase your score? What are the different components of the competition?
Okay, so in the competition there's static events and dynamic events. We want to really increase our dynamic side, so that's going to be driver training and basically trying to get the car as fast as it can be.
The car is powered by a Suzuki GSR 600 motorbike engine that's had a few modifications.
The engine was built by a motorcycle company, Suzuki, and we are just trying to take that base platform and then get as much power as we can out of it.
I'm sure driving the car is the fun part. Who gets to do that?
Well, the car's driven by 5 students from the university across 4 different events at competition. Previously, these drivers have all been from the team, all engineers, but you can have drivers enrolled in papers at the university.
For more details, see the Wesmo Facebook page. Still to come, we speak with Dallas Fisher from the Chiefs Rugby Club, and next on Central News, we find out about the Tauranga Farmers Market. Welcome back to Central News. Fruits and veggies of all different sizes and tastes will be judged at the 2014 Farmers Market New Zealand Summer Producers Award in Tauranga on Saturday, the 29th of March. Hilary found out how the awards will be judged.
No, the fruit will and all produce will arrive on Friday, and we'll have that kept somewhere where it's nice and cool so it doesn't wilt or become damaged. Then that will come down to the marketplace early Saturday morning. We'll be set up on tables for the judges who will judge from there, and they will be wearing microphones, and hopefully we'll hear some of their comments, and that they will be talking to the public about what they're doing, what they're looking for. I don't know that we'll hear who's won. That is actually something that is kept under wraps for a little while. And we've got 5 students from Tauranga Boys College, hospitality students, who are going to be taking part, because it's a good opportunity for them to learn about good food and how to choose good food and use it.
This is actually an additional section to the National Awards. Why is that?
Yes, it is. Our normal national awards are usually in the winter time, and at the last conference last winter in Littleton, it was discussed that there's a lot of lovely summer produce like the pip fruit that gets missed out and never has an opportunity to be part of these awards. So this is the first summer award, and Tauranga's lucky enough to host it, because next winter we will have the winter awards here in Tauranga, which will be a big event because the producers will come with their product, not just for the summer awards the product only comes. So that's the reason that we've introduced it.
Trixie, do you think then that means that farmers markets are becoming more popular?
Yes, definitely. Farmers markets, even throughout New Zealand, are becoming more popular with visitors as well as locals doing their regular shopping at the market. And we're also noticing now, as people travel around the countryside, that they're making a point of visiting the local farmers market to experience the region's foods, the region's produce.
What are the benefits of buying from your farmers market?
All farmers markets work to a set of values set out by Farmers Market New Zealand, and those are that whoever is selling the product has either grown it or manufactured it themselves as an employee or as a family member. So you're dealing directly with the producer. So as a customer you can ask 1,000,001 questions and get, as they say, the word direct from the horse's mouth. And then, of course, you're buying fresh. A lot of those producers have got up that morning or the day before and done their harvesting and brought it to the market. So, you really are getting a fresh product. and the opportunity to get all those unusual products, quinces and strange varieties of plums and heritage products. So that's why there is a huge benefit. Yeah.
The awards are on this Saturday 29th of March from 9 a.m. onwards at Tauranga Primary School. The Chiefs are striving for a Super Rugby three-peat and currently have 3 wins under their belt from 4 games. Anne-Marie recently spoke with Chairman of the Chiefs Rugby Club, Dallas Fisher, to find out more about the changes that saw the Chiefs franchise become a rugby club.
Dallas, welcome to Central News. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
Lots of changes with the Chiefs this year. Firstly, we've moved from a franchise to a privately owned rugby club.
Indeed, we now have owners, we have capital, we're a real business.
A real business. Congratulations, you've grown up. Tell me about the private owners.
We have 2 types of owners. We have the provincial unions, which is Waikato counties, Taranaki, Bay of Plenty, King Country and Thames Valley. They own half. The other half is owned by 3 types of investors. There's a group of investors from the Taranaki, including Craig Norgate and Philip Brown. There's a group of 15 investors in a syndicate from the Waikato, and then there's a Frenchman, believe it or not, from Mauritius, who's a mad Chiefs fan, Eric Series, and he follows us all over the world, and he has a number of investments in New Zealand and around the world.
What is this going to mean for the players and the fans that you're now a privately owned rugby club?
Well, I think all fans and all players want to see success. They want to see sustainable success. So for the first time, we've got capital, and we're investing that capital into, we just bought the 3rd in New Zealand weightless treadmill. And this is all about player rehabilitation. So we're putting a massive investment into our gym, into really very high-tech equipment, and that's all about getting the guys fitter and stronger, which then goes on to the field with performance, which produces wins, and that's what the fans want.
That's what we want, absolutely. And you have recently been reappointed as chairman of the Chiefs Rugby Club, so
yes,
congratulations. And in my mind, I see that as very fitting. You're a well-known Waikato businessman, successful in your own right, so it makes sense now to help lead the Chiefs into this new era.
Yeah, I got appointed chairman under the old structure 2.5 years ago, which sort of started the drive of the change of the business, the appointment of Dave Rennie and Wayne Smith, Tom Coventry, Andrew Strawbridge as a coaching group, the move to Ruakura, investment in brand, community engagement, all those sorts of things working together sort of harmoniously, if you like. And that has been very successful, but we've got to continue that on. And so the raising of the capital, the development of a 5-year, very detailed business plan, all designed for sustainability, to improve performance and to keep winning.
Fantastic. Dallas, we look forward to a three-peat this year. Can you
haven't got any inside oil there. I don't coach the team. I just help provide the resources.
And unfortunately, you're not on the field. Or maybe
it'd be a disaster then, yeah.
Dallas Fisher, thanks for coming in, and go the Chiefs.
Thank you.
For all the latest information, go to chiefs.co.nz. Up next on Central News, we find out about a winning dragon boat team from the Bay. Welcome back to Central News. A local dragon boating team have been national champs 3 years in a row and are fundraising to get themselves to the World Championships in San Francisco. Hilary went along to a training session and found out how much muscle goes into paddling one of these.
An awful lot. Paddlers have to be really fit, and our team does an awful lot of fitness outside of being on the water, climbing the mount, running the mount, biking, Papamoa Hills, a heap in the gym. So yes, the fitter you are, the faster the boat goes, and it requires a lot of muscle.
What kind of fitness level are we talking?
Well, for example, we took some guys on in the gym the other day and we did planking, and our women, we stopped after 6 minutes planking and the guys couldn't do a minute, so they're pretty fit. Awful lot of upper body and core strength.
I have to ask, why is there a drummer on a boat?
Okay, the drummer is really important. The drummer beats, and that tells the paddlers when to put their paddle in the water, and so it dictates the timing. The drummer also does all the calls about when we're to have a power call or when we're to take it home or if we're out of time. So yes, the drummers are very important.
Julie, can you tell me a little bit about the sport of dragon boating?
Okay, well, dragon boating originated in China, and at times they can get over 1 million people to a regatta watching it. And we race over probably shorter distances than what like Wakaama would be. So our distances tend to be around 500 metres, but we can do a 2,000, and we have a splash and dash at 200 metres. So yeah, a range of distances.
There's quite a variety of you out there, isn't there, Colleen?
We vary in age from 40 to 70 plus. Our eldest paddler's just retired and she's in her 80s. And we come from all over the Bay of Plenty and also from over the Kaimais. The furthest ones come from Waihi, Matamata, Te Puke, and then Papamoa. So yes, we come from everywhere. And the one thing that we all have in common is breast cancer. But so we travel a long way, some of us, to get here and to participate in the sport.
You all are breast cancer survivors. Do you think that gives you a greater sense of team?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's not the focus of what we do though. We focus on our fitness and on our health. But having all been through the same experience, it can be quite funny at times, the conversations that develop.
We have probably got a sense of humour about breast cancer in some ways.
Yes, and we're not shy.
So there's lots of ladies laughing out there on the water.
You have to have a lot of fun as well.
You can support the team by visiting their website boobops.co.nz. Taking a look at the weather for the Waikato for Friday, Hamilton, it's a beautiful day for you with a high of 24 and a low of 8. Pairo, much the same for you with a high of 24 and a low of 9. Matamata, fine with light winds and a high of 22. Te Awamutu, your high is 24 with a low of 8. And Tokoroa, much the same with a high of 22. Taking a look at the Bay of Plenty now, with Tauranga, another fine day for you with a high of 24 and a low of 13. And Te Puke, a high of 22 and a low of 11. That's Central News for today. Make sure you like us on Facebook and let us know if there's news or an event in your community. Thanks for joining me. I'm Amy Forrest. Have a wonderful evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.